Okay, welcome to Combat Mission Battle for Normandy. This is patch to 3.0 and has the Commonwealth module. What I'm going to be doing here is fighting a fairly small battle. It's called Keep Calm and Carry On. Last 45 minutes. I'm using turn-based, which hopefully will work out. I'll just go through the briefing. As you can see, there's a map with the various locations where attacking south from Commonwealth. Okay, the situation. Operation Bluecoat started with some problems, but the 15th Scottish Division has pushed past the German minefields and forward posts in Septvant. We should be in Saint Martin de Bessarges by evening, however you pronounce that. Mission: clear the road leading to Saint Martin des thingammy. Commander expects your force not to take considerable losses. Friendly forces. Your company is assisted by a troop of Churchills, 3 tanks, and 2 Stuarts from 6 Guards Tank Brigade. This is Bocage country, so engineers have been attached to your company. Enemy forces. The enemy infantry lines are getting thin and weary. This should be a simple mission, but expect to encounter mines and ambushes on the way. No enemy tank forces are known to be nearby. Plan. Scout the route for enemy ambushes, bring down indirect fire to soften them up, and then use your infantry and armour to disperse the shell-shocked survivors. Okay, that's the plan. Now, objectives: enemy casualties above 50%, friendly casualties below 15%, road folk and forest occupy for 500 points, Meunier farm occupy, Road de Saint Martin occupy, 2,000 points. Available. See the tactical map. So yep. Road folk and the forest road. So we're trying to establish this. We're attacking from this direction. So let me see. Okay, we can get 500 points here. It's interesting that we're getting more points for securing this area than pushing further forward by the looks of it. So yeah, that's going to be a more open approach, but obviously it's going to make us more vulnerable. I think with the engineers, it's interesting to see where we're supposed to set up. We get designer notes, fictional allied attack. Scenario length 45 to 55 minutes. Date time 30th of July 1944 or 700 hours. Weather conditions are light fog, no wind. Cool air, damp ground. Designed by Jerry Mikkonen. The fins get everywhere. Okay, let's start. Okay, now we're looking at the game map. Let's get ourselves oriented. So here we are. There's the fork in the road. There's the. Have I got trees turned off? I think I probably might have. Can't remember. There you go. Let's see with the trees turned on. Okay. As you can see, it's pretty dense now. Just a quick overview of what the game is. Combat Mission. This is basically Combat Mission 2. The original Combat Mission games came out around '99. It's kind of like Squad Leader. I think that actually the developers were tasked with creating a computer version of Squad Leader, and then for one reason or another they left and went out on their own with the Combat Mission series of games. As you can see, all these icons here. That's a rifle section. You got a what is it? 2-inch mortar. Can't remember exactly what it is now. Ammo bearers, sharpshooter, or sniper as it's put down. Churchill tank. The 3 Churchill tanks making up a single platoon. The flag indicates a headquarter unit of some sort. And obviously what we're trying to do here is to try to use our forces in such a way as to defeat the enemy, surprisingly enough. You can play it either turn-based or in real time. I'm playing it in turn-based so that I can properly analyze what's going on, just scrolling about as you would in a normal scrolling fashion for any kind of tactical game. When I say turn-based, it's a well, the developers know it's WeGo. You plot your turns, the enemy plots their turns, in this case the AI. Then you hit the go button, which is the flashing red button, and then that turn is resolved. Okay, as you can see, everything's pretty much scattered out. One thing about this is with versions 3, when you click on a headquarters unit, it shows you what units are connected to that. So 9 platoon HQ here. These are all the red lines indicate units that are attached to that HQ. That's important because it is important to keep your units within a command and control distance. If you look at the icons in the panel, there's the eye and then there's the mouth. That tells you that that unit is within visual and shouted range of their HQ. The further you go, the more that they're going to be away from that. And the radio set shows that they're in radio contact with their HQ. So that would be the company HQ. Okay, we've got various vehicles here, including a lorry. Let me see if I can find the company commander. Well, there's a battalion HQ. I don't know what the company commander is. There you go. Okay, company HQ. So that's an overview of the forces that we've got. Each individual man is represented with a particular weapon that they would be carrying. You can mount infantry on some vehicles like a truck. I don't think in this one you can put them on the backs of tanks. I'm not sure. Okay, the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to just have a look at the map. We've got an infantry company, we've got some tanks. I want to come up with a basic idea. There's supposed to be some engineers. It'd be great if we could actually bring up a panel so I could actually click on individual units, but that is not to be. Motors. There's a jeep. I'm struggling to find engineers at the moment. The shaded area that you see, that purple shaded area, allows, well, that's the setup area. That's where you're allowed to set up your unit. You can't set up further forward than that. Okay, I'm struggling to see any engineers in this. There's a support HQ. Maybe they will show up later. See what support we've got. Okay, we've got a lot of 4-inch mortar platoon or some things. Oh, actually they're on map. Yeah. So we've got the 4-inch mortar sections plus an off-map 25-pounder. We've got someone else. We've got 2 25-pounders by the looks of it. Okay, let's get rid of that. But as it is right now, I can't see engineers. I can only see the infantry. Just find all the HQs. 8 platoon HQ, 3rd battalion HQ, support. Okay, company HQ, support HQ, my platoon HQ. So as it stands, I can only see infantry. Infantry mortars, a couple of vehicles, well, 3 vehicles. 1 Bren carrier. Is that another one there? No, that's the Stuarts. 2 Stuart light tanks. Okay, those Stuart light tanks really are for reconnaissance. The Churchills are infantry support tanks. Okay, I'm going to turn. Let's see. Turning the trees down. Let's formulate a plan, or at least attempt to formulate a plan. Okay. Now, can we just get through that? That looks as though we'd be able to get through that. Let's just. I'm thinking that we can just walk through that low bocage there. That won't really hinder us. But I'm not totally confident about that. I think it's only this heavier, taller bocage which is going to be a big problem. But it's a while since I've really played this, so we shall see. I think that smaller bocage is going to be passable. It's just the larger one that's going to cause a problem. Okay, now obviously we want to capture this area here. We want to dominate this area. Okay, we can go down that road with the armour. That's again a bit of a problem there. We've got how much can we get through this terrain? I'm gonna assume here that we're not gonna be able to get through this stuff, but this smaller stuff will be able to. Well, time will tell. If I can push the armour down here and they can dominate this area. Also fan out into this area. This should probably be. Let me see. Let's get a bit lower. So it looks pretty flat. This is probably going to be, this little couple of buildings is probably going to be a little bit of a jumping off point. Those I think are going to be too wide on the edge of the map there. What kind of windows have we got down here? If I can turn the map, the view around. Should give us some view out of that building, but is there an entrance at the back? Yeah, there's the entrance at the back. So we can get into there. There's a little bit of cover in advance of it. We could establish a position here and then advance to there. Maybe put some smoke further ahead there. How many platoons have we got of infantry? Be easy if I could find out. Looks like I've only got 2 platoons of infantry. Or is it 3? 8 platoon. What are these guys here? Armor bearers. 10 platoon. So is it? I'm losing track of what's what. 8. No, I think it's 8, 9 and 10 platoon. Oh, pioneers, there you go. Figured it out at last. So I've got some. The important part about the pioneers is they'll be able to blow gaps in the bocage. Because I don't want to get into this area. This area is just going to be a really bad idea, I think, getting into the woods. I'd be much happier pushing in this sort of axis, but then you've got to be careful of this line. I'd really just like to hit that whole area, at least this kind of an L shape here. Just hit that with 25 pounders and also hit right along that bocage there, at least down to there. Hit that line of bocage with again 25 pounders. Is it a road down there? It's like a pass. Just hit that whole area down there with 25 pounders. Again, just at an L shape there and just right down that line there. So that's kind of the plan at the moment. Certainly the artillery I want to, but then I've got to have somebody that can spot for that. Well, you know, it's going to be kind of this. Maybe just a diagonal. Well, I don't know, maybe two lines. Two linear paths. And again, who's going to spot for that? That becomes a problem. But I don't want to advance down that left hand side. I mean, those haystacks there would give you a nice leapfrog situation onto the forward edge of that bocage, but it's going to get a bit messy. Now I've got so I've got 3 infantry platoons. I can use 1 infantry platoon to secure this edge row here. And 1 work up to about here. Then when they're in position set up, with maybe the mortars. Could possibly put the mortar spotter here, but where they? So I've got to get good cover for the mortars. If I had 1 rifle platoon here, another one here, that would then, when they're in position to cover, put some smoke down here, get them into these, get those that platoon into this building here, get a spotter into about this area so I could see all this area. Artillery those areas. Then when they're sitting in that position, you've got these, when the artillery bombardment clears, you've got a better position then to bring up the armour. Maybe push those Stuarts down onto the flank there to give some flanking shots into the building and have the Churchills roll forward. 3rd platoon in reserve. Just go with the classic 2 up and 1 back situation. So how are we going to get there? How are we going to move onto that objective? And what are we going to do with the sappers? To be perfectly honest, at the moment I just keep those in reserve, I think, but let's get these 2 Stuarts forward at first. 1 sitting about there, giving it a clear view down here, 1 with a clear view down the road. Being careful not to get them too exposed, but I'd rather have those 2 exposed than anything else. Not sure what I'm going to do with the truck. But what I'll do is I'll get my unit set up so that it can start. In fact, I might blow some. I don't know if there's a gap in this. This is one of the problems I have with this game. It's very difficult to spot gaps in the hedgerow. I can't see a gap in the hedgerow. I might just use those pioneers to blow a gap in this hedgerow so we can start moving up that. No, actually there's one there, I think. Is that a gap there? Yep. So we're clear with that. But the first stage really is to get a steward in a position, or maybe one or two stewards in this sort of position. Maybe one here, so that they can start covering the infantry as they start moving up towards this hedgerow. So they'll work up here, get in position, spotter about, probably the platoon leader right here, and then once I've got him in position, just make sure that the spotting position is good, and then we'll take it from there. So as you can see, I've set up the forces in a reasonable manner. It's a bit cramped, so it's not a great situation to be in. Okay, the plan is for 9 platoon to occupy this building and then start moving along this kind of mini hedgerow. We'll go for this little gap in the hedgerow here, get a half a section in here, and then maybe the full section later on, and get the other 2 sections. I'll split them into teams and start working them along the right hand side of the road. I'll also get the stewards forward so that they can provide overwatch for this platoon. I can't afford to allow any of the platoons to get cut up, so that's going to be my first priority there. I've got the pioneers will move up. I'll blast a hole in the hedgerow, so I don't think there's a gap for very long. I don't want to concentrate everybody going through that one gap for obvious reasons, and I can't see another gap in the hedgerow along here unless I've missed one. So I'll blow a gap in the hedgerow, and then this platoon here, which is 8 platoon, will go through the gap and will start working its way on the hedgerow on the left. The objective then is to get 9 platoon starting from here. As they move forward, they'll take up a position here, once, and with the platoon leader somewhere down here towards the end of the hedgerow. Then with a base of fire there, I'll put a smoke screen down, probably with the fringe mortars. I'll bring the fringe mortars maybe down the left. I'm not sure. I've got to find still not sure about where I'm going to find a line of sight. Maybe along here. I'll get the spotter here. The mortars actually deployed along this hedgerow for cover. Find a spot where I can put a decent smoke screen to cover kind of an arc. Get 8, I think it's 8 platoon into these buildings here. Just double check. So that's 9 platoon. This is, yep, 8 platoon. And then, as I say, once I've got the smoke down, they will, having infiltrated along this hedgerow, then they'll get into these buildings to dominate this section. And that'll be the first phase done, and then I will put 25 pounder fire onto an L shape here on this field, and right along this kind of sunken road along here. And then it's a question of the next phase, how I actually get into the fork in the road and this little hamlet here depends on what forces we come up against. Obviously there's a lot of clear ground to cover. That will really then become the job of there's some trees here actually, but that will be the Churchill tanks will start to lead. I'll bring those 3 Churchill tanks up. Might well have pushed those Stuarts onto that flank there, so maybe one here and one here, so that the buildings are guarding the flank, so they can just fire down into this hamlet down here. But again, that really does depend on how the battle develops in this first turn. So there you go, that's the setup. I'll be back for the first turns in the next section of this video.